Give me a second. What's up, everyone? It's Jeremy Majors here with Majors Academy Dog Training, and we are live on Facebook and YouTube for our 73rd episode of Dog Behavior Questions. I don't put Thirsty Thursdays anymore because, well, I don't really want to. So, we got a lot going on in the business-wise, and I want to make a couple of plugs. There is a seminar going on this Saturday that I am conducting this Saturday at 9 through Lucky 7 Dog Rescue. They are the host, and it starts at 9 a.m. and it is at the Glass Art and Supply LLC. So if you're around the area, I know it's St. Patrick's Day. All right, it ain't going to be going on all day. You can still get your green beer drink on, okay? I plan on having one afterwards. But if you're around the area and you want to learn more about dogs or just say hi to me for a second, please do so. We are at the Glass Art Supply. Lucky 7 Dog Rescue is putting it on. And the Glass Art Supply is on 153 North Broadway in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So if you have some time, stop by. All right, those of you who have questions, please feel free to ask. We can, or if you just want a topic, if you want me to talk about a topic, please do so. We are here to just help anybody who's watching, and hopefully you guys get some good information about what I'm saying. So, along with the seminar, I just had my I guess I would call it a post interview. Good evening, Stacy. How are you? With Home to K9 and Cameron Thompson, that's hosting the Dog Trainer Summit. So what that is, if you guys don't know, the Dog Trainer Summit is a group of, well, I would say it's not just dog trainers, because there was a nutritionist last week, and a nutritionist yesterday that was talking about just nutrition, raw food, diet, and all this good stuff. So there's that. But anyway, the Dog Trainer Summit was a group of people that were selected around the world, dog trainers, to talk about their specific area of expertise, and I was one of those. So that was pretty exciting. If you want to catch my interview or my post interview, just head to Home to K9 and click on the Dog Trainer Summit 2018, and you will see yours truly talk about dog training. Shout out to all of you guys who showed me support and love for that specific event. There was many of you who reached out, and I couldn't reach back, so I'm going to reach back to you in this platform. Thank you guys for reaching out for me. I appreciate it. Definitely want to show my appreciation for those who have always watched me and supported me. I really appreciate it. All right, so let's get into it. Yeah, let's do that. All right. Okay, Lindsay asks, do you have any tips for training an incredibly nervous, fearful dog? He's 3 years old, nervous, and holds his body like a brick, very, 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 very tense. Won't take any food, and is allowing the pressure of the prong, and is following the pressure of the prong, but still has a hard time with focusing, scoping out everything around him all the time. Everything outside, from wind to mailboxes, freaks him out, and I don't know what to do about it. So far, I'm just doing verbal praise, which he cares less about, and prong pressure to get him to do things, and also walking him in new areas to work on his confidence. I've had him almost 5 days, and I feel like I should be seeing more progress. No, you shouldn't. 5 days ain't nothing. Okay, relax. This dog is figuring things out. Relax. Okay, give it a month or two. No, 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 no. Just relax. Just ease it in. Just ease it on in. I remember when I got Tobias, he was the same way. Would shut down, he'd go lay down to the ground and just kind of shake. And then I introduced the prong collar and I realized that that was a mistake because he was just such a sensitive. You know, he's a difficult. He was a difficult dog because he's sensitive but also big and strong. And sensitive, big and strong, high anxiety dogs are very difficult to work with because they get in their own head and because they're so strong and strength, they can kind of muscle their way into what they feel is comfortable for them or what they feel is right for them. So um, it's difficult. But I went to the uh, what kind of leash? A slip lead. I went to a slip lead instead of the prong collar and worked that until he got to know me, was comfortable with me. Then I put the prong collar back on him. But but don't push him too soon because the more things you introduce him to, the more opportunity he has to be confused about so many different things. So use your voice, lead. You don't have to be sweet. You can just be, you don't have to be necessarily, sweet into the point where the dog gives, you know, uh, sort of takes advantage. But you can be tough and be you got to kind of be both. You got to kind of be tough and gentle with sensitive dogs, but you also can't take no for an answer, despite despite what they are presenting to you, because some dogs, they can really play games with you. They can, and so you don't know this dog enough to know if it's a game or not. But when I'm working with a sensitive dog, because I work with I have one right now, plenty of big, sensitive, strong, high anxiety dogs, and they'll figure it out. They'll figure you out. They need to figure you out too. You need to figure him out, and they need to figure you out. And once that happens, then all of the sensitive stuff kind of can go away, and you can be tougher on them. Because I tell you what, I am rough with Tobias now. He used to be very sensitive, right? And I mean sensitive by touching, wrestling, and all that. Like, I got another dog who I can do whatever. I mean wrestling. I mean, we can do all kinds of rough stuff. Really play rough, and she loves it. But Tobias, I can't be that rough. But I cannot. But through our time together, he knows me now that I'm. He knows that when I'm rough, now it's no. Now he knows that I'm just playing with him, as opposed to disciplining him. Because sometimes he would think, "Whoa, are you cool? Are you angry at me?" Right? So he'd get all sensitive and stuff. But so anyway, yeah, 5 days is nothing. No time. Nope, 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 nope. Just get that walk straight. If you got to go back to if you got to go back a step to the slip lead, then do so. But don't try and walk this dog here, there, and everywhere, and all this, that, and the other. Just walk him in one area for now. You ain't gotta. You don't have to worry about him getting used to all this crap yet. He ain't even used to you yet. So let that happen first, and then you can introduce him to other things. Oh, I gotta plug my little phone in before it dies. Yes, I'm in Green Bay. I don't. So I can't come. I'm there. I'm here. I live here. I live in Swamico. Well, it's like Swamico, Howard, I don't know. I live by Maplewood Meats, so I'll be here Saturday. All right, next question. Okay. Who? Uh oh. Luther was attacked by a loose husky yesterday. Oh no. Uh oh. The husky obviously lost, but how much of a setback will that be, and regression can that cause? Is this ever coming? Is there ever coming back? Um, it depends. It depends on the dog. It depends on the situation. I've had my dogs be attacked a long time ago. I had my dogs be attacked on leash very bad, and they went to dog daycare and played with other dogs like nothing happened. Um, so it depends, man. Just check on Luther. You may have to go back to basics and be tougher on him in certain areas just to uh, just to reestablish the trust and who's in control on the walk. But make sure you're looking out for him on that walk. If you've got loose dogs going, you got to make sure you're doing everything you can to make sure that the loose dogs can't get to your dog, especially if you're dealing with an insecure dog. Um, by any means necessary too, right? Because at the end of the day, if you are, what happens is sometimes we become too insecure to confront that other dog, in any way measurable. I mean, I'd get aggressive with that other dog. I wouldn't care. I'd even try and kick that dog away because anything's better than having your dog be attacked, potentially going to the vet, your dog going to the vet, their dog going to the vet. Like anything's better than that. And so even if you got to get a little violent with that off leash dog, that's not your fault. You shouldn't feel bad for that. Not saying that you did, but this is something I would go through. I would feel bad, but you're almost helping that dog by not allowing Luther to get engaged with that loose dog. And so do what it takes to get that dog away from you. Even if you got to carry a stick to separate, dogs, keep dogs separate. But man, um, advocate for your dog by any means necessary. Again, I've had dogs try and come up to the dogs that I'm working currently, walking and stuff, and those dogs are aggressive. And if I allowed that other dog to come up to the dogs that I'm working, it would be a bad situation. But I never. Yep, Aaron mentioned a stun baton, $30 on Amazon. So that is much better than having two dogs go at it and having a bloody mess. You don't want that. The doggy don't is also a very good tool. Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that. Um, so yeah, any means necessary, man. Get those dogs away. Keep them separate. You're just that trust that you have with your dog can go up, and it also can go down. And so it's our job to at least keep it here or go up. And sometimes we got to get ugly for that. So I apologize that happened. That sucks. Let me know if you want me to come by, because I definitely will. All right. But I bet you Luther didn't have any problem defending himself. So, yeah, he's a big boy. All right. When I work my girl, can I send you a feed to show you what I do and to have you see what I'm doing wrong? This is in the next few weeks to come. Absolutely. Please do. I would love it. Thank you. Um, Breed he's a big old black cane corso. Beautiful dog. Good God. Beautiful, beautiful dog. All right. Hi, Jeremy. I watched your recording on home to K9 training, and you shared a lot of good information. Thank you, Amy. I really appreciate it. That was so much fun. I hope to do it again. You know what happened as a result of me working with Cameron is that I'm now booked to have a seminar out in San Diego, a bite work seminar, and on June 3rd. So that's pretty freaking cool. Um, so I'll get to spend 7 days in San Diego and train some dogs. Can't get much better than that. Okay. Have you worked with any dogs that you can't fix or can't stop their possessiveness? No, I can't say that I have. I've never worked with a dog that and I don't like to use the word fix. Okay, but I can get them to stop the behavior. I've never been unsuccessful in stopping, especially if it comes to possessiveness or what you say. What I think you're trying to say is what we call resource guarding. Um, yeah, there are definitely some very, very aggressive resource guarders out there, but I've never had, uh, I've never been unsuccessful. So you signed up, Michelle. Perfect. That's great. Can't wait to meet you. All right. Let's see what else. I have the dog you don't. Only have two hands. One has the leash, the other has the shot collar remote. Put the shot collar remote on your neck. And then put the dog you don't. This is what I do. So you're going to have to look e-collar on the neck, right? And then dog you don't around the wrist, just hanging. And then when you have that situation, grab that dog you don't, boom. I do it every day. Put you between both dogs and get crazy. I have done it probably, let's see, probably about 7 times. And in the last 5 years, I've had about 7 dogs come up, and uh, I've never, they've never made contact. So that's good. I do bite work. Yes, I do. I've been doing, I was in the sport of Schutzen for about 5 years. I got a little busy with my business, and so I don't have a personal dog in it anymore. But people still want me to train their dog in bite work. I had a woman from Minnesota come with 2 Dobermans, and she competes her dogs because good helpers are hard to find. They look for athletic dog or athletic helpers. Thank you for that advice. My gut feeling was telling me to take it easy too, but yeah, he's only here for 3 weeks. Oh, I see. I will follow your advice and do what's best for him. So if he's only here for 3 weeks, you're basically doing what I do, because I only do 3 weeks. I don't do more. I don't do less. I just do 3 weeks. And um, the first thing that I would again be worried about is the walk and then maybe the place command. But um, I walk them in one area and that's it. So I misunderstood. I could change my advice for you now because you only have them for 3 weeks. Um, uh, so you're kind of more like you're training them and then shipping them off. Where is if you were keeping that dog forever, then I would say, you got all the time in the world. You can really slow down. Um, but since you only have them for 3 weeks, one of the things that I work on right away, the first day is I just walk the dog, take the dog for a nice long walk. Second day, walk, place command. Third day, maybe socialization, and then place commands, things like that. But I leave a lot of time. This is what I do leave a lot of time with is just hanging out with the dog, in the backyard, hanging out. So the dog can feel me better, get a good feel of me as well. But they can also do that. They can also get a good feel on the walk as well. So I'm thinking of making the trek up there this Saturday from Chicago. Burbs. Would love to learn more about behaviors. Do it! That would be awesome. Come on out. Okay, let me think. Tell me more about the seminar. Well, we're just going to do bite work. I tend to I tend to play towards the crowd, so I got to feel the crowd out a little bit and what they want, and there's not going to be any dogs that are there for Schutzen training, right? So it's basically going to be basic bite work fundamentals. Um, Pretty much, uh, in general, what I'm going to teach is full grip, um, you know, proper, uh, proper biting, which is going to be healthy for the dog in the long run instead of biting with the fangs. Because everyone that does bite work that are novice to it, they just bite right here. Dogs should be biting back here with their molars. So that's a big thing, and that's a pretty difficult thing, but that's a big thing that I work on. Also, obviously, we're going to work on outs. We would definitely work on outs, and depending on what kind of dogs I have there, we can do more advanced stuff. So it just depends on what crowd is there and what they have as for dogs. The more advanced they have for dogs and the obedience, whatever, we can take it up a notch. But that's a good question, um, and I never really make a plan. I just kind of feel out the crowd and then you know, uh, go with the flow because the dogs will tell me how far I can go, um, or how far not to go. And the other thing is, what if we did have a I can teach the bark and hold too if we have a really intense dog. I can teach a bark and hold. I can also teach bike work with a puppy. Uh, there's a few things that I can teach to start off some good bite work fundamentals. I'm excited. Alrighty then. Hi Jan, how are you? Bite work is going to be great for Sizzle. We also dabble in agility and dock diving. We may only achieve BH, but she has amazing drive. Saw the cam video. It was useful and glad you are being recognized for your skills. Thank you, Jan. I appreciate it. Shout out to Jan. She, and her son were there in the beginning of my dog training journey, way back in the day. Okay, and she's been a Doberman enthusiast since way back in the day, and we used to work dogs when I was dead broke. We used to work her dog in Milwaukee, Cathedral Park, in that other park. I don't know, a bunch of the park where there was a bunch of goose poop, but literally goose poop everywhere, man. It sucked. But so yeah, her dog and my dog got to know each other. Bodie, no, Rhodey. Was it Rhodey or Bodie? It was Bodie. Um, and my dog Diesel were good friends. Started from the bottom. So yeah, thanks for that. I really appreciate that. All right, this shelter pit bull that I'm working with is doing much better using the prong collar. It seems that he gets excited. He starts jumping. That escalates into grabbing your arm and biting. Last time I turned my back on him and squirted lemon juice in his mouth, and he stopped immediately, and his behavior changed. I can't get this behavior to stop. Wait a minute, you just said the behavior changed. Did I read that wrong? Last time I turned my back on him and squirted lemon juice in his mouth, and he stopped immediately and changed, and his behavior changed. I can't get this behavior to stop. Well, you're going to have to see a professional. If you know that those are things that you really can't maybe explain over the internet. Sometimes I gotta have my hands on the dog to because on one hand, again, if the dog is doing it because he thinks he can, he needs to be corrected heavily for that. But if he's also doing it because of fear, he needs to be given sympathy for that. And so you gotta kind of gauge, mm, and you can only really gauge that if you're there. If but if you've been working this dog over and over again, and he's a bigger guy, I tend to believe that he may need a heavy correction, but it's just hard to tell because some dogs can get really confused when there's tension on the leash and too much. And sometimes it's tricky to know how much tension to give or how much correction to give, and then obviously how much slack in the leash to give the dog as well, so that he can become clear as exactly what you want quickly, right? So we deal with that quite often. The last dog that I can remember in specific was this big old brown pit bull that I first, because he was human aggressive, I first wanted the owner to try and work this behavior out just with them two, So she'd walk back and forth, and immediately when the dog felt the prong collar pressure, the dog jumped up and tried to bite the leash, and then maybe tried to bite her, whatever. And so I was like, all right, we'll try maybe 2 more times because I don't want her to get bit. And if this doesn't work, I got to go ahead and take this leash, And mind you, again, this dog is human aggressive, so I run the risk of getting bit myself. But anyway, that's this risk we won. So I had to end up taking the leash, and I was able to work through it because I've done it many times. But it's all about, giving in at the right moments. I mean, the seconds, right? Like the very second that he maybe starts to throw a tantrum, and it's also in combination with how you're using your voice pressure too, because all of that, the whole goal is to get him to understand that you walk this way, and there's no need for the jumping up and lunging and biting, and there's also the side of you can't really do this anymore. So it similar to the redirect bite, but without any stimuli too, right? So sometimes, or most of the time, when there's the redirect bite, the dog is so frustrated that he can't get to something, then he redirects. Most of the time when I use that terminology, that's what I'm referring to, but it's pretty much the same thing. But anyway, so that's the trick. I think you, again, should, try and see a professional so they can work out exactly the confusion, because dogs can get confused when there is constant tension on the leash. And if you're not giving in at those right moments, that can create that confusion, jumping up and biting thing. So I hope that clears up something. All right. What would you recommend for videos to watch before the seminar to start bite work with my pup? I'm gonna have to go back. And maybe find some, actually. I've got a couple of them on my YouTube channel, but they're not very instructional. I'll try and see if I can find some, and then I'll post it on the Facebook on your comment to see if that'll work better. But yeah, I'll try to find some work. I know a guy where I live, but he's probably an hour away south from where I live, and he's really good, really good at bite work, and he's been doing it forever, and he's one of the I would say he's one of the best helpers. That's what they call them in the state of Wisconsin and in the region, actually. So I'll see if I can find maybe even some of his videos too, because his videos are very instructional, and he's awesome. Him and his wife. All right. Thank you for your question. All right. Michelle says we do tug, but I just learned a great piece about the biting with molars. He doesn't have much or any grip. Well, that's the other thing you can work on too. Gripping is important and can be reinforced and taught. And so you want to make sure, you're doing the right things to secure a good grip, because even adult dogs have trouble biting correctly and keeping that toy in their mouth. One of the things is you almost have to make it so that you're going to take it away if they don't bite hard enough. You know, if they're not biting hard enough, then they don't get it. And if they don't want it, then they don't get it. But if they really want it, they'll figure out a way to get it. And so sometimes it's all about showing them that if you bite hard and you hold hard, then you'll get it, but you'll only get it briefly. So I can talk about how to get that done or whatever, um, but that could take all of our time. Okay, those of you who are just joining too, if you have questions about your dog's behavior, feel free to ask. We're here until 7. Then I gotta watch the NCAA wrestling nationals because they're going on, and I'm a big fan of that. So um, I got a couple questions on my regular Facebook that I gotta ask. That I gotta answer. So let's bring those up. All right. Okay, Amber says, wondering your opinion on dog positions on walks. We were discussing at my house which order to walk my 2 dogs. Plus, currently, my mother-in-law, 2 dogs that were staying with us for 2 weeks. Does age, calmness, or behavior determine the order for you? Whoa. Or do you pick leaders and or weed out who are better at it? We currently walk 2 in one. 2 in front by one person and 2 behind with the other person. Since they're all still getting used to each other, we've been kind of mixing them up, mixing the order, as long as they'll behave. Whoever was not behaving was getting put in last until they calmed down. Is this the right way to handle this? Or my husband thinks we should put our dog, the only male, in front, and the eldest dog, mother's law, making them the alphas of the dog. I said, don't only do that because he's been territorial to other dogs in the house, and I've been told in the past, his high anxiety does not make him a good alpha dog. Would this be a good way to counteract some of that? Okay. So what I would do, Amber, is I would do what you guys want to do and forget everything else. Do what you want. What I do work the calmest dogs first because they deserve it. If I've got a dog, if I'm just walking into my training room and one dog's standing up or one dog's whining, I'll tend to ignore them and go for the dogs that are calm. That's it. That's pretty much the only criteria because I do want to reinforce the calm behavior in my dogs. And so, or I just want to reinforce that dogs being calm will get what they want. And so I don't care about any of that alpha stuff. I don't care about any of how old they are. It just depends on just the calmness. That's what I go off of. All right. Thank you for your question. Okay. Getting my dog back after a 4-week board and train. What is the most important thing I can do to continue his awesome leadership our trainer has established? Simone, the dog has a human aggressive past, and for a while, we will continue to muzzle. So, great question, by the way. I will encourage my clients to just stay in tune. Or I talked about this on that interview too, but staying in touch with the trainer, staying in touch with training in general, because it is a constant learning thing. Sticking with the game plan. Sticking with the game plan going forward that your trainer had set for you guys, and remembering to always evaluate how much you can give your dog without them becoming pretentious about your giving them the thing that they want most. And for most dogs, it's they want our attention, they want our affection. We have to give that in doses. We have to make them really work for it. And so, if you're getting a dog that is human aggressive, you really, really want to cut down on the praise. For this reason, I do believe, just like kids, I do believe that if your dog is overpraised, they are more likely to be aggressive to other people. On a I think I can side, as opposed to a fearful side. If they are getting way too much of what they want, what's the reason for them to actually behave? What's the reason for them to actually listen? All right. And so, more important, well, not more important, but a important factor would be to evaluate how much praise you are giving, and make sure that your dog stays humble, which just means listening to you. If your dog isn't listening to you very well, then there's no way that you can invite guests in your house without a potential accident. So make sure your dog is listening to you before you take that step. If your dog's not listening to you and you have guests over and you don't want to deal with it, well, no. If your dog isn't listening to you the way that it should be listening to you, and you have guests over, then you should put your dog away. Put your dog in a crate. Put your dog in a separate room. Because then you are, in a way, advocating for your dog and the strangers coming through. So, that's what I would do. You want to make sure at all times, because he has that problem and because he has to learn through you, your leadership, that he has to listen to a certain way to actually be included in certain activities that in the past have proven to be something he can't handle. So, and I say that to kids, and I didn't want to leave that kind of out there, but when I experience kids, I don't have any of them, but I worked with them in a sports setting. I worked with them but the kids that are the most open to other people becoming close to them are the ones who are I would say have more structure in the home as well, or what we like to call good home training. And so it's the same way with dogs. All right, if you're just relaxed at home and you're not giving your dog the structure it needs, or just not allowing the dog to not listen to you to the level at which, because what we have to think about is what we want in our lives, right? So we want people over, we want family over. Well, that means our dog, in order for that to happen and our dog actually be able to be included in our lives, we have to do the work in getting our dogs to listen to us a certain way, or to a certain degree. Because it's not going to happen for some dogs. It's easy to just say, we'll work on it later, or we won't work on it at all because, well, guests aren't over every day. Okay, but when they come over and one of them gets bit, now all of a sudden you're thinking, I had to do all this work. I should have done all this work. So anyway, not saying that this is your case whatsoever, so don't think I'm being judgmental, but it is very important. If you want our dogs to be included in those certain activities, it is best to keep them humble despite what we want or what's easy for us within our relationship between our dogs. So, always evaluate that humble mindset. If they're not listening to the point where they think you think they need to, then put the dog up when guests come over. She says, "Thank you. Yes, I understand. Although he has sadly only attacked my teenage daughter. Well, even still, if the dog is felt comfortable enough attacking anybody, evaluate how much the dog can actually get away with. The teenage daughter needs to learn also what the trainer taught you on how to handle the dog, because the teenage daughter obviously needs to get respect from that dog. If the dog has mutual respect for everyone or anyone in that household, there will be no attacking. Okay? But evaluate small things like, is the dog allowed to jump on the teenager? That's very disrespectful. And that can, if that's addressed, then the dog won't attack the teenage daughter if the dog thinks it's not okay to jump on her. And so you really want to evaluate their relationship as far as, is the dog, can the dog have the ability to listen to the teenager? The teenager should be able to say, whatever your dog's name is, go lay down, or come, or just anything that if you can control the dog, anybody who is living with the dog should be able to control the dog to that same level. So if they've got something to work out, that's how you work that out. Allowing the teenager to do some work as well, so that they can have mutual respect for each other. All right. Thank you for your question. Feel free to ask another one. Okay, let's see. I think I got one more on my page. Yep. Jody says, Ginger, my pity beagle, has a horrible habit. When Billy, one of my other dogs, gets to run over and say hi to our neighbor, she barks and howls like someone is trying to kill her because she is tied up. She gets her turn too, but I don't like to send them both at once. It doesn't matter whether she's tied first or second, she still does it, even after she's had her turn. Pure jealousy. It's so loud. I feel like everyone in the neighborhood thinks I'm beating her or something. Yeah. Well, it's tough. That's a tough situation for the dog. I mean, you can teach her how not to be. Where'd that question go? Oh, hell. You can teach her how not to be jealous so much. You may need some sort of tool, right? But I think that would be pretty tough in general to kind of solve. But I always teach people to have the ability to only pet one dog at a time. And my other dogs respect that. So you could probably practice that with your own dogs, right? So if you're petting one dog and the other dog comes up, you see that jealous dog come up with that loud dog, the one that's making that noise, just sort of push that dog away or tell the dog to go lay down. You know what I mean? And do that over and over again. Because my dogs now won't, if I'm petting one, the others won't even come up. And so you can work on that just in your household. You can work on that in your backyard. And then once the dog has that habit of, hearing you say go lay down and whatnot, the dog, you can also do that then when the dog is tied up. You know what I mean? But just give that dog something to do in that circumstance as well will help. Thanks, Jody. Thanks for your question. It's always a pleasure. All right, you guys, any last questions or comments or anything like that? Again, we will be at the Glass Art and Supply this weekend, this Saturday, from 9 a.m. to 12. We're going to do a little behavior seminar for Lucky 7 Dog Rescue. And so come out. I know it's St. Patrick's Day. You guys want your green beer, but feel free to come on out and yeah, have some fun. I'm wondering if I can have a green beer. I know I gotta come back home yet, but I'm definitely gonna have me some green beer because I know many of you don't know, but I am about 17% Irish. Can't you tell? I can post a link in to the location. Yes, it is Glass Art and Supply is on 153 North Broadway, but I'll post it on the this feed thing in the comment section. There we go. Oh, your son turns 10 on Saturday. Well, happy 10th birthday, double digits. That's always a good little landmark. But anyway, all right, guys, I'm gonna check off. It's been real. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys on YouTube for watching too. But you guys didn't ask any questions. Next time, ask some questions. Come with some questions. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same day, same place. Peace.